Hello and welcome back to the Moment of Truth podcast. I am your host, Junior Mintt, and this is the show where I invite you to take a moment and reflect and be proud of how far that we have come as individuals and as a community, but also honest about where we still have to go in our growth as supporters and protectors of Black trans power. Through personal testimony and honest conversation with community leaders, we will recognize the power we all have lurking within ourselves to not only impact our own lives in a positive way, but also keep pushing Black trans power forward. This week's episode is actually going to be part 2 to the last episode that I released where I interviewed the one and only Mohawk. So I got a lot of amazing feedback from a lot of people about how impactful the episode and the conversation with Mohawk was. And I really did have a lot of extra conversation that we had because we really just kind of just talked and the episode just kind of came out so naturally. So we had like over an hour of recording. And so, yeah, there's so much more to learn, so much more love, so many more stories to hear from them that I'm excited for you to hear. I'm so happy that you all were so impacted by the episode and you received it so well that you all reached out to me and told me that you wanted the part 2. And so I am so happy to provide it because honestly, the conversation that me and Mohawk had was something that I'm so thankful that I got to have it because it also actually gave me a lot of wisdom that really only a conversation with a Black trans person who's older than you can you really have, because just simply seeing them exist and seeing them succeed and seeing them thrive is something that gives me hope for my own existence and for my own future. While at the same time, I always think about the fact that usually when I have these deep conversations or conversations that truly give me pieces of wisdom, I usually receive them at a time when I really, really need them. And the conversation truly helped to ground me and gave me some beautiful pieces of advice and calming words as I went into going back home to DC for my grandmother's funeral. And if that's not community, I don't know what is community. So, with that, let's jump into this episode. But before we can get to the interview, we know what we gotta do first. We need to get this thing started with some positive affirmations. Okay? So, as per usual, I'm going to say them and you just repeat after me. But as you repeat them, I need you to mean these words, okay? I need you to be speaking from the depths of your soul to yourself, because these words are powerful and have the ability to not only shift how your day is going, but as well completely turn it around, okay? So, repeat after me. I feel healthy and strong today. I have all I need to make today a great day. I have it within me to solve any challenges that occur today. I am able to make smart decisions for myself today, and I am happy and content with my life. I am patient and calm and looking forward to whatever today has for me. I am grateful for another day to make a positive contribution to my own life and future. And if you at any point need to repeat any of that, please do. That is our morning affirmation for this episode. And a friend of mine sent that to me because this past week I just finished going to my grandmother's funeral, which was very difficult. But when I tell you, morning affirmations really help to get the day started in the right mindset and as well get me through it. So that is a blessing. And I hope that that morning affirmation helps to get you through your day or get you through whatever the hell you're going through. Because as we all know, all of the foolishness that goes on in life is not constricted to one day. It is constricted to a lifetime. And so that's why it's so important for us to be protectors of our own energy, protectors of our own space, and protectors of our own thoughts and words, because the thoughts and the words that we have and that circulate in our minds and in our space truly impact not only how we feel, but as well how our day is going. So make sure you're checking in with yourself and staying in tune with how you are feeling, okay? Now, as we all know, we also need to start this episode off with checking in with a rose and a thorn, okay? Because you do not need to just be staying in a hotel in order to check in, okay? You need to check in with yourself consistently, be asking yourself how I'm doing, how is life affecting me, because you are always changing, you are always fluid, and you are always in the progress of change, okay? And I usually like to start with the positive first, the rose. But this week, I've already said it. A thorn this week is I had to go to my grandmother's funeral, and it was very difficult. There's really no amount of mental preparation that can prepare you for it. And I'm just honestly thankful that I've taken all the time that I've needed in order to actually really mentally process it all, because I think that I wouldn't be able to honestly articulate how I'm feeling or really even delve this deep into how I'm feeling if it wasn't for me taking the time to really process the raw emotion. And I think that I'm going to be far better off because I gave myself that time and that space. I really do think that I'm going to be far better off because I gave myself all of the rest that I needed, all of the food that I needed, all of the things that you need to just get through grieving and get through processing. I allowed myself to have it without feeling guilt and without feeling shame for it. And it feels just really beautiful to be able to honestly get to experience that process and treat yourself the way that you would want to be treated and the way that you would want to know that other people are being treated while they're mourning. And so it was nice to be nice to myself. And I guess that's the rose of it. The rose of this is just, I think I've really learned how to take care of myself through a difficult time and to really protect my energy and protect my mental health through extenuating circumstances and traumatic circumstances. And yeah, I'm just growing more and more and trying to find my footing in who I am and find my footing in who is Junior as a proud black trans woman. What does that look like for me in terms of protecting my own energy and mental health when it comes to life, family, friends, all of these different avenues of really trying to give myself the space to discover myself and discover and uncover and process so many pieces of myself that I didn't know were there, that I didn't know I was suppressing, things that I didn't know that I was shoving into a deep corner of my mind and not looking at. All of these things are things that I'm just so happy to be coming into and to be processing and to, yeah, think that I'm growing into the person that I've always wanted to be. And even beyond that, the thing that makes me the most proud is to say that I can see what it feels like to know that I'm growing in a direction that I know I want to be growing in. Not feeling confused, not feeling pushed into this direction, not feeling as if there is something just yearning at me that's saying this isn't right. For the first time, I can really say, like, yeah, I can definitely say I am who I'm born to be. And that is the greatest blessing that any person can truly ask for. And I really think that that's part of the thesis of what this podcast is that being true to who you are is the bravest thing that anybody can do. But beyond being true to who you are, you have to first discover who you are to be true to. And I think that I have definitely conquered that. But of course, the way that life goes, there is no real thing of like conquering any emotional thing because it's still just lurking there. And so you always are working on the same things forever. It's just that along with your evolution and your growth, so do the same anxieties, the same fears. They all evolve and take new forms. But in my opinion, that's what life is. That's what the human condition is. It's just everyone is dealing with their own shit. And the most that we can hope for is to stop our shit from spilling over into other people's shit or causing our shit to ruin someone else's day. And so it's really just about caring, empathy, compassion, and that compassion always starts at self. It always starts with self. If you are not being kind to yourself, if you are not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be kind or taking care of anybody else. You're not going to care about how anyone else is doing. And so, yeah, just I'm really happy with where I'm at in my process and in my healing and with everything. And yeah, I'm just very, very, very thankful. And what I want to tell any person who is listening is just give yourself time, give yourself love, give yourself space, and give yourself the treatment that you would be giving to anyone else if they came to you with a problem, if they said that they needed your help, because you deserve it. And it is not easy when everything in this world is causing more anxiety, more fear on top of all the things going on in your personal life. Because trust me, I know what it is like to have to deal with so many different things going on in your personal life and then to still have to try to walk out the door and deal with somebody catcalling you, being nervous about the police, being nervous about somebody honestly just murdering you because you're a black trans woman. And so, trust me, I understand. I relate and I connect to the fact that we cannot control the anxieties that are going on in the world, but at least we can try to take care of one another and to help manage the anxieties in our personal life and the fears that we are carrying around every single day in our own personal lives, because we are going to need a full-on revolution to change this government in this world, but we don't need a whole revolution in order to change our own lives. We can do that every single day, one step at a time, changing your life into something that you want to see, changing your life into something that reflects what you want to see in your life. And that it all begins with you. It all begins with one moment of taking consideration for yourself and putting yourself first. And that has been my rose and my thorn for this week. I hope that you have gotten some positivity, some upliftment, because you have the power. You truly do have the power. You have the power. It's just about recognizing it and acknowledging it, because you cannot use your strength. You cannot use your power. You cannot use all of your beauty until you first acknowledge it, okay? Because when I tell you, you can't go and book a modeling gig if you're not telling nobody you a model because you don't think you cute. Not a single person would have ever booked me for a drag gig if I was like, oh yeah, I'm a fine drag queen. I'm all right. Like, yeah, I'm just like every other drag queen. No, in order to use that power of your beauty, your strength, you have to first acknowledge it. And so, even if you lie into yourself, stand up in that mirror and be like, this bitch is sickening. This bitch is stunning. And I'm not joking. Me, 60 pounds overweight, stretch marks, hating my body, me not seeing my body as fitting who I actually was, and all of these things, I literally would stand in the mirror and just repeat them to myself, trying to make myself feel better. And when I first started doing it, I would always end up laughing because I'd just be staring in the mirror saying I'm beautiful and all of these things. And in that moment, it may not have drastically shifted how I viewed my body, but even me being able to be comfortable laughing with my shirt off, naked by myself, is still a step forward. It's a moment of me being comfortable with a piece of myself, because even just looking in the mirror and hating myself and saying all these horrible things in my head, I'm not even living with my body. I'm literally living with an enemy. I'm not living with my body. And so even just being able to laugh and being able to be comfortable just being present with my body, not even having any thoughts about it, positive or negative, it was an achievement for me. And so I'm just letting you know, progress is not going to look like what you expected. Progress will never come in a package that you expected, because progress is different for every single person. And you can't compare progress either, because you are different than every single other person. So as you are walking around every day, putting in the work to trying to be a better person, that just because you cannot feel a change does not mean that there is not change being done. Just because there's not a punch-in card for you to clock how you are working on yourself does not mean that you are not working on yourself. So always take pride in the work you are putting in on yourself. Always take pride in the fact that you are growing into the person that you want to be. Just because you aren't at that person yet does not mean that you are not putting in the work to get there, okay? So no, I'm proud of you. You are fucking killing it. You should be so proud of yourself. And speaking of progress, talent, and being the best version of yourself, I think it is time that we get into our interview, part deux. That's French for two. Yes, I am somewhat bilingual. Did I take French for 3 years in high school? Yes. Did any of it stick? Absolutely not. The only thing that I need to do before we jump into this interview is preface it by letting you all know that where we left off in this conversation is we were speaking about computer science and the fact that Mohawk was completely surrounded by people who did not look like them, represent where they came from, or represent any piece of their identity. And so we left off talking about JavaScript and how to build websites and what you do with a degree in computer science and what that looks like as you're working in the field. And so we're going to jump in right as I'm trying to figure out what JavaScript is. Get ready for the amazing and the incomparable Mohawk. All I remember is from the games I would play online, and it'd be JavaScript failure. And I always wondered what the hell that was. I was like, I don't know what a JavaScript is or who wrote this script, but thank you. I remember because CartoonNetwork.com used JavaScript exclusively.
Oh yeah, that's how I got into it because I was like, oh, I love Macromedia Flash. Now it was a I mean, then it went to Adobe, and now there's no Flash. Like, Flash is dead. Imagine me building my whole career around Flash, and then, like, I graduate, and we're in a recession, and Flash is obsolete. I was like, damn, y'all set me up.
That's the scale.
I thought I was gonna, like, I gotta start kind of from scratch. I was like, luckily I know how to do other programming languages, but wow. I was like, I'm gonna do Flash. I'm gonna do, like, animations and video and all this stuff because like Flash was all over the internet in the like 2000s, and then like the iPhone came out and ruined it because it wasn't compatible with mobile. It wasn't very compatible on mobile, so they just killed it.
Okay, so like, what do you do with computers? Like, I know what you can do with it, but like, when you're like, okay, I'm about to go out and make money with this skill.
I started with mostly like website stuff. And I still do websites, but then like software started becoming like the big thing, like around 2013, 2012. Like to do software before then, you had to know something like C#, C++, Java, any of those like really lower level programming languages, which are really kind of hard to be honest. But then stuff like Ruby on Rails and Node came around, and Node is based off of JavaScript. And they were kind of like, hey, people already know JavaScript. We can just like make JavaScript more usable across different types of for building different types of platforms. Because for a long time, like you said, the Cartoon Network site was all JavaScript. JavaScript used to just be a web browser script. Now you can build whole mobile apps or desktop apps and stuff with it. I'm pretty sure Spotify is built with JavaScript. Basically, I basically did like $2,000 worth of work for free to try to prove well, yeah, I felt like they had to think about all the time that I spent like working on someone's project.
I would send the invoice.
Right. Like some of them literally have you come in and work on tickets that are in their backlog of the app that they're building, and you go and work on stuff for them for free to see if you're fit enough to work for them for pay. So like you could do all that. You could have built everybody in their grandma's projects, and they still might be like, nah, we felt you weren't the best fit, or they're stronger candidates. You always get those vague, excuses. So I'm just like, I've been doing this shit for years and years and years now. I don't have to prove shit to nobody. I'm tired of that.
Wow. So after you finished in college, did you go straight to New York and start doing computer science and like programming?
That was that basically like the beginning of my senior year of college. I knew that I was moving to New York. Like I had seen graduates before me go out to New York and get jobs, and were doing well. We had this program. Well, it wasn't technically a program. It was like a school club or whatever. But we had put like a lot of people who were in my field of study, which was technically called interactive multimedia in the School of Visual Communications. So a lot of people in the School of Visual Communications. We had created this little like club, like, it extracurricular, whatever they were called back then. But we had put together a school club, where everybody who was in that college and with that field of study, basically we would have like speakers come in and talk about, career stuff, like what it's like to be working in those fields, or like, one of our big things. And they did it for several years after, was like, the thing was to go to New York every year and see what alumni were doing in the field. And so the first year we did that was like, it was like my graduating class. It was a class of 09 who like put together that group our senior year. And that was the first thing we did. And like all the years after it, they continued to do that. So I got to be the person on the other end of it eventually, like a few times, where students come, like, see what I'm doing with my skill after having graduated. And so I knew I was moving to New York once I was like, everybody has a job here. Like, why am I going to stay in Ohio? Like, I'm not going to, like, everybody's getting work out here. So I already knew I was moving to New York. By the beginning of my senior year, I started, like, talking to people I knew out here. Like, I didn't really know anyone out here. I had, like, friends on, like, LiveJournal who... and MySpace, who I was like, oh, they're in New York. Let me hit them up and see what's up.
LiveJournal.
I know we get to like date myself like as so much in this conversation, because my first roommate was a friend that I randomly met on LiveJournal. She's still one of my best friends to this day too. Like, I made it work. Listen, like I said,
connection,
technology, and you know how we met. Like it was so goofy, because there was like no real standard for like having an online friend back then. It was, if you remember LiveJournal, for anyone who hadn't used LiveJournal, there used to be like these like public forum, like topics where you could just go like leave your own little comment in it. Like anyone who had a LiveJournal could go leave their comment. Like it could be like, what did you eat for breakfast today? It could be like the public topic, and everyone can just go say whatever they want to say. But yeah, it was on LiveJournal. I was just scrolling through everybody's answers, and she had this avatar, like, you remember when they were called avatars and not like profile pictures, because they usually weren't pictures of us.
Always.
Now we talk shit about people who don't put real profile pictures. They'd be like, oh, you got an anime profile picture. You're a fucking loser. Like, that was everybody's profile. My friend had a DDR, a Dance Dance Revolution avatar. And I was like, I love DDR. And that's how we bonded. And like, when we lived together in New York, we had all the little consoles. We were playing DDR and stuff too. So like, turns out we actually like happened to, like, she's also a queer Black person. It just so happened that it became that way. It didn't matter back then. All I knew was that she liked DDR because it was in her avatar. And that's how we bonded. And then like over the years of like, it like ended up like going over to like AIM and MySpace, and then MySpace went to Facebook. And then like by that point I was on Facebook. I'd been on Facebook since it was like almost brand new in like 05. And like I had all these connections there was like this option on Facebook back in the day, and maybe still, I don't know, but back in the day you could be like, do you want to import your email contact list into your Facebook? To find people that you already have connections with. And I was like, sure. So my Hotmail account uploaded.
This is the most 2000s like story I've ever heard. We've gotten LiveJournal. We have gotten chat rooms involved. We've gotten Dance Dance Revolution. Because mind you,
I was a DDR master when I was like 17. Now I'm just like huffing and puffing, and like my bones ache and shit.
Every single photo of you that you have shown me of you at a rave gives me nothing but the impression that would be you. That you would have slayed Dance Dance Revolution, because I feel like I still have a pad back there. I have a metal Dance Dance Revolution pad behind my desk over there. See, I can't
do it like I used to.
I don't have the eye-feet coordination. The amount of information I just learned is so much that I have to just take it in right now, because I'm imagining you in like the mid to late 2000s, good on Live Journal, seeing somebody's
Oh yeah, it
profile
was on my
picture.
live journal. Yep.
I'm
I
like,
used to figure out with my little shitty what was it, compact webcam. Remember when compact was a computer brand?
compact.
With like 2 megapixels.
The only thing we haven't added in here right now is a VCR. I'm like, how is that gonna play in?
No VCR, because like I mean I had a VCR, but
Or
you
or
know what? My parents still have a beta. We used to have a beta cassette player.
a
There's no
beta set?
reason for that. Yeah,
I'm
we had that in my household. My parents don't get rid of shit.
that is
It
I
still
always
works, but obviously
you were
nothing's
gonna
on beta
have
cassettes.
so many collectibles. Like if you go through that house, you could have eBay. Somebody on eBay wants
Oh,
that.
I've got. Oh, that's true. I totally could. There's someone. I have like classic Tims. Like, I have like so much
Untouched.
old shit that I barely, barely wore, or it's just in good condition because like we typically took care of some stuff,
Mm-hmm.
But
Would
anyway,
you
I had
still
like
wear any of it today?
I thought about it. I've thought about it, but they're like these like really bright colors. I don't know, maybe. I could see myself possibly wearing them cuz I love some Tims back then. Like I look so
Yes.
sloppy, but my Tims are on point.
All you need is a gray smile and a good shoe, and you can't go wrong. Everything else is just icing.
There's this iconic photo of me that is me in Biloxi, Mississippi, standing on top of this water fountain with the most ridiculous outfit, but like my like sky blue Tim. I can't remember if it was my sky blue Tims or I had like these other like like turquoisey like color. But like what I
Mhm.
thought I was a shit. I had like these high water fucking pants and this like red shirt, but I had those
Oh,
sky blue Tims,
style.
and I'm standing in front of this like big water fountain in front of a casino in Biloxi, Mississippi. I thought I looked like
I
the
need you to
shit. I
find
had
this
my,
photo.
I've looked for it. Like I've looked for it. I know I have it somewhere, but it's buried in some archives,
You have to
some
find.
notebook.
You described it too well, and now I'm like, you saying that you're outside of a casino in Biloxi? Like, tell me that doesn't sound like the beginning of a movie.
I was probably eating all that you could eat, like at the the shrimp and the lobster
So good.
buffet, like.
I was literally just talking to my mom about a memory at an old country buffet. How I was just so happy as an 8-year-old kid eating the shrimp at Atlantic City, eating all the seafood. Like, a
That
kid.
was a highlight for everything for me was finding the seafood buffet. It still is a highlight.
Same.
I love that stuff. I mean, like I don't eat much meat these days, but I was still, when in Rome,
I go in some
I can't.
seafood.
Yeah,
I go in. Don't tell
if
me
someone else is paying for a fucking seafood buffet, I'm eating that
you.
seafood buffet.
All you gotta say is crab legs, and I'm there. You said
Oh yeah, crab legs,
a lobster tail, the
mussels,
mussel, and my favorite extra special treat that, like, if I can find it, I will go wild, is crawfish.
crawfish and
I
clams.
saw it in that Scooby Doo movie growing up when they went to they were in New Orleans, and that's where they met the
Yeah.
Hex girls. And I will never forget them eating all the crawfish out that barrel, and I was like, they look so good. And then I had one and I was like,
It really is good, especially if you go to the right place and the crawfish is they got the right spices on it. I remember the first time I was in Houston, Texas, and I went to some crawfish place and they had it in a barrel and they had it all spicy and like Cajun, and I just remember just going in on all of that stuff. I was like probably
ooh,
14 or something or 15, but that was
ooh,
my favorite.
I so want to just go on like a road trip throughout the South eating, just eating. Just go, start it at
I would do it.
yeah, okay. Oh, honestly, this sounds like a post-COVID type of trip, and I would be so
Right.
down. We could easily find two more people who are down for some good eating in the South, and
Oh yeah, we could find it. I
I
love
don't
finding the
drive,
food
so I will
spots.
just be an amazing shotgun passenger, And
I drive, and this is food motivating me, so it's no
okay.
problem.
See, I am the best passenger. I'm the best passenger to ever have because I got the map, I got the directions, I got the music, and I
Yep.
got water. See,
As
I'm a
long as the passenger oh, see, you already have the water on board right there.
oh
Yeah,
damn.
as long as someone's got, I don't have to fidget with stuff. Someone's got the directions and someone's got the music. I'm not having to mess with my phone or do nothing like that.
That's me.
Then,
And
and someone who could like, also have some good conversation, like make it seem like time
see,
passes quick.
road trips are my favorite
But
thing in the
yeah,
world. Like my dream trip is like going cross country. Like just go cross country, see the country change in front of your eyes. Go see the mountains. Go see the pastoral purple plains of the Midwest. All of those places that they talk about in that America song, whatever one it is.
right. There's probably a bunch of them.
Exactly. They talk about it, but it's really just like they just want to frack it. They just want to frack it.
Facts.
That
Yeah,
part.
I wouldn't do a cross country drive by myself, but I would totally do it with, some
Yes.
good friends, a good vehicle. Like we gotta have like a little, at least a camper, if not like a bus or a
A
RV. Like
camper.
it's gotta be something cozy because if we're all crammed up and we're
Yes.
trying to like sleep in the back seat and nah, we can't do that. I'm also
See,
getting way too old for that. I used to do that when I was younger, like just drive until I couldn't anymore, sleep, take a nap, eat some peanut butter and
when you
jelly.
said that, I literally was just like, wait, are they 40?
Getting close.
But
Getting close.
I just hit the point in my life where I realized I'm definitely I'm past my 20s now. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just in 4 months I'm gonna be 26. I'm definitely like, okay, can we get to financial stability? Can we get to
Oh,
like
well, let me tell you.
nothing's guaranteed in the 30s, but I'm hoping.
Look, when you're black and you're trans, like, listen,
See,
every year is just going to be a new adventure. You have no idea what is in store. Like, I thought I'm sitting here like when I hit 25, I was like, yeah, I'm balling. Like, we good. Like, 30 is gonna be lit. I hit 30, I'm like, oh shit, I'm having a midlife crisis. I didn't think that I was due for one of these for like another 10 years. What's going on? You
I
know,
thought I had some time.
I didn't know that this was supposed to happen
Oh
at
my
this age. Like, I already had high blood pressure. I'm like, what's going on?
that part, that
It's
part.
like, dang, I thought I had
Oh,
a little bit more time before my body started falling apart. Like,
not even an exaggeration. I have literally this quarantine. I've started to have to put a cap on when I have to stop eating at night because I get indigestion in the middle of the night, and I'm like, bitch, is this a new symptom of aging? Like, am I? I'm just
right.
okay.
I
So
had this meme that I had posted on Instagram like probably a few weeks ago where that meme where it's like the big buff Shiba Inu, like
yes,
doing something, and then like the next panel is like the wimpy crying Shiba Inu, where there's like the big buff Shiba Inu is like me in my 20s just like taking handfuls of ecstasy and going to work the next morning, and then me now in my 30s is me eating spaghetti.
yes.
Me eating spaghetti and getting indigestion and thinking I'm going to die.
I feel seen. I feel so seen.
It's
Oh,
like I could just whatever, like drugs.
give it to me.
Fine. Next day at
2 hours
work,
of sleep.
performing.
Fuck it.
Right. I used to be in class hungover, whatever, 2 hours. All I did was go brush my teeth and show up.
Yes.
Like now, it's like I need 8 hours of sleep, or else I'm gonna be screwed up for the next 2 days. It's like I can't eat that. That's gonna tear up my stomach.
Oh my god, that part. I don't think I'm gonna take a second shot. I'm fine. The first one hurt enough.
Right.
The first one hurt enough. I
Like
can't
that's
do
my
shots.
limit.
I'm having to stop doing shots because the lime after the shot is too much for my stomach. I'm like, I need this lime, but I can't do the lime. I'm really at the point now where I'm just like, give me some Tums for a Christmas present.
Right.
That's what I need.
The picture just had like a whole pile of Tums next to the spaghetti.
That part. Every single time I'm just like, I'm in for it. I know I'm in for it and I'm doing it to myself. It's like, oh, It's hard. It's hard. Getting older
It's
is fun.
difficult. It's difficult, but like you just become more adaptable. Hopefully, we're resilient people. We can handle it. I just thought, I just
Yeah.
feel bamboozled because they really made it seem like if you do good in school, you go to college, you're gonna be
Mm-hmm.
set. Like
No.
I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, y'all must have had a different, like, shit was obviously different back then.
Yes.
My dad was a first generation college graduate,
Mm.
like first generation college student. Period. Like nobody
Oh,
else in his
amazing.
family went to college.
Mm-hmm.
His grandmother or his mother dropped out of school at age 13, and his grandfather had a third grade reading level. Like that's when he dropped out of school. So like my dad was the only person who went to college, and everybody else went to the military
Mm-hmm.
or didn't do any other like thing after like high school.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad he paid his way through college and like 3 years of law school at Howard University. And I'm like, how do you do that? What? He was working at an airport in the baggage claim. I'm like, really? On those wages, you paid through school? Like you had a regular ass job and you paid through school? Like I can't even.
While still eating, while still
I
roof.
had I worked yeah, I had 35 I worked 35 hours minimum a week at multiple different jobs, and I could barely pay for just my room and board or like whatever my like rent was, and it was like $600 a month in Ohio, which like
No, like
so like
I.
if this was New York or anywhere else, I would be sleeping in
Yeah.
Grand Central and then going to class at 9 a.m. because I
No,
can't afford that
literally.
shit.
I literally I worked 5 jobs at one time while in college, and that was like for 3.5 years, and that didn't include all the extra like studies. I studied scenic design, so it didn't include the shows I was designing, the sets I was building, all these different things that I had to do just for the class, and all of that was literally just to have enough to like live. Like one of the jobs I worked was a 24/7 job of being an RA. So I didn't have to pay for the roof or anything, but like in order to buy a
Right.
new jacket, in order to like if you wanted to go out and get yourself a meal, like it was so expensive to live
Oh
that it was
yeah,
like
I signed up. My first credit card was so I could eat some Quiznos. Like, I was like, ooh, free meal if I just sign up for this credit card. I'm like, I was like, I need some food. I'm hungry and I don't have no money right now. And then that letter showed up to my parents' house. My dad called me. I was like, he's like, I got an acceptance thing for a credit card. I was like, oh, you can disregard that. I was just trying to get some free food. And then that's where it all went downhill. Because my dad was like, okay, we're actually gonna open up this credit card and use it because we gotta pay her tuition this month. Like I can't afford it anymore. And I was like, oh
yeah.
Lord, here we go, fucking up my credit.
That that part. Oh my god. Literally, I'm like nothing ruined my credit like trying to have a better opportunity in life.
Right. I thought that was why my parents are trying to help me pay through school, so I didn't have to like, be like operating at a deficit the
Mm-hmm.
minute I get into the real world. Like I thought I was supposed to be like, I thought they had planned this in advance. Like I thought they had a whole account for me or something. What happened
They
to
were
the
going off
money?
God's plan. They were going off God's plan. It was God's plan.
I think what happened was the recession in 2001, unfortunately. But my
Ooh.
parents didn't like to act like they didn't have no money, so it looked like we still had the same lifestyle. But actually, they had blown through all my college savings.
Ooh.
By the
And I
time I get
ooh.
to college, by the time I
So
get to college, they're just like you're on your own now. I'm
that's
like,
the
what
kids that are still going into college now are all experiencing the same thing. And like even to the fact that I've paid down, like putting any money into it is like that's a crapshoot. But
the right?
I saw this tweet that said somebody took out $30,000 in loans for college, paid back $20,000, and because of like interest and everything, still owes like $25,000. And you're like,
Yeah.
what do I even get in return for even this? My credit score just staying the same. Like
Right. You might as well just. This would have to be a whole other conversation. But like, I had to figure out all that credit stuff on my own. I realized I was fucking that shit up the whole time. Like, I knew I wasn't supposed to like hit the maximum balance on the credit card. But
mm-hmm.
there's so many weird like fine print like hidden like consequences I was like, when I finally got an adult job, I was working in the industry and did all this stuff and finally paid off that credit card I opened for some Quiznos. I was like,
some Quiznos.
I felt like I was an adult. I was like, bam, paid it off, closed the credit card. And then one day I had to like reopen my credit to like, cause I was moving for the first time in several years and my credit score was so shit. And I'm like, what's going on? I had no debt. They don't want you to have no debt. You have to have debt to build credit. And I was like, God damn it. I could have kept it open. I wasn't supposed to close it. I'm not supposed to close. You pay it off. And even if you pay it off, you can put like $1 and pay that off every month. Like just keep doing that. And it actually will increase your credit score. Yes. You want the credit to stay open longer. You don't close it just because you paid it off.
And that is a financial tip from Mohawk.
It is. I have lots of financial tips. I'm broke as hell, but I have a good credit score.
Yes, you better work.
Like I look good on paper. Like that's how you get ahead in some of this shit. Like people trust me enough to pay them back eventually.
That's like, and that's exactly it. I always like to think that your credit score is literally just telling creditors and everything, like, how much can I trust this person to really believe in capitalism to give me my money? Like, how much do you believe in this?
This computer isn't paid off. I just got it financed, but I have a good credit score, so I don't have to worry about that. This will be paid off sometime next year. I needed it now. My shit was breaking.
I'm trying to get to that point so I can just be like, okay, I can actually just go get this thing that I want and take care. Like, it sucks to have to play the game, but like I still live in the system, you know?
Yeah.
You still live in the system, so I'm like, we got to make the best out of it.
That'll be the next talk with Junior Mintt.
We are in fact venturing towards the end of the episode, but before we go, Mohawk, I have one more question. What is your social media?
My social media, well, my Instagram currently, that's really all I've been focusing on. So my Instagram is as in the article, THE, Rebel, like in, I don't know, the rebels from like Star Wars or whatever, REBL, educationist. So that's like education, but with ist at the end of it. I used to have it as educator, but then I Googled that educationist is technically better. Like an educationist is someone who's basically like, you're not just teaching, you are teaching how you teach, and you're always learning. You're a person who's like more invested in, you know, the whole like branch of education, or just the whole. I don't even consider it just like it's not like a career thing, but you know.
You're in the career of learning and adapting.
Right.
And applying the learning that you're doing.
It's like a lifestyle, you know, aspect.
Thank you so much, Mohawk. Literally, I'm so honored to have gotten to speak to you. And that is our episode. I would like to thank you all so freaking much for listening. I am so honored to have your ears. I'm so honored to have your downloads, and I'm so honored to have your comments and your shares, because this whole thing is a labor of love. And I'm just so thankful that if I can touch one person, if there's one person out there who feels like there is a person who they can connect to, who can be some form of a embodiment of perseverance and continuing, despite the fact that life doesn't always give you a reason to continue. And so if I can be that person for even just one person listening, I've done my job, and I can sleep happy at night, because I'm just so thankful to have you all, because this is providing so much positivity and good and positive change in my life just doing this podcast. And I feel like I say it every week, but you know, it's not bad to be reminded of your importance to a person. And so, I'll keep on reminding you how amazing you are and how necessary you are. So thank you. Thank you so much. And you make my life a lot brighter. And I'll be talking to you next week. I have a very special episode for you all next week, and I'm going to leave it as a surprise. You'll just have to wait to see the promo, because you're going to experience probably one of the deepest conversations I've ever had with a person. And so, get freaking excited. I'm so excited to share it all with you, but you do have to wait. So In the meantime, like, share, subscribe, tell people about it. Put it on a billboard if you got the money for it. Share this thing. I just, want to brighten people's day and make someone's day a little bit lighter. So have a beautiful rest of your day. We will be talking again soon. And thank you. Just thank you. So have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye.